G'day, mate. 40 here. So, I've been listening on Audible the new biography of Mitch McConnell, the longtime Republican senator from Kentucky. He's the Republican minority leader. In the past, he's been the majority leader when Republicans had a majority in the US Senate. And he was first elected to the United States Senate with the help of Roger Ailes' negative TV ads. So he came from more than 50 points down to win in 1984. And first thing that he did that got him on the map is that he co-sponsored a bill to divest from South Africa. And he took this action in opposition to President Ronald Reagan, who was against sanctioning South Africa for apartheid. And he took this position because it was part of his internationalist and interventionist bent. And so those are two things I think a lot of MAGA Republicans in particular are pretty tired of, that interventionist, internationalist bent. The United States sticking its beak into other people's business all over the globe and making pronouncements on human rights and then imposing sanctions when other people are not as pro-diversity as they should be. I was amazed to learn that hate speech was first implemented after World War II to ban Nazi propaganda, and then was quickly taken up by the Soviet Union to ban any criticism. And I'm not a big fan of hate speech legislation. It has no objective meaning. If you love something, you will always hate that which threatens it. So here's something that I'm tired of, particularly on the right-wing side, and I think it comes from a place of ignorance, and that's hatred of pollsters and polls. The polls are generally fairly accurate for what they do. They're not perfect, but the polls have been generally correct. Right? They've been about 95% plus correct. They almost always accurately select the winner. The major exception was 2016, Donald Trump, and prior to that, the 1948, when Truman beat Dewey. But other than that, the pollsters have overwhelmingly correctly selected the winning candidate in the US presidential election, and they have been usually more than 95% accurate. And as you may well say, hey, 40 Atlas polls, they were the most accurate pollsters in 2020. Why aren't we giving more credence to their poll results here in 2024 when, is it Ann Stelz's Iowa poll showing Kamala up 3 is getting attention, when Atlas is coming out, Donald Trump is ahead in all the swing states, and this has such... The answer is we don't really know much about this is Mark Halperin making this good point. We don't know much about the people behind Atlas. We don't know the methodology behind the Trafalgar polls. So Trafalgar polling has had more than its share of success, but they are not open about the methodology they use. And so some polls get more respect than other polls based on how open they are about their methodology. And the New York Times poll is about the gold standard of public polling. And this Stelzer lady is respected because she is so open about her methods. But you shouldn't expect her to be more than about 90% accurate. The New York Times was transparent in that Democratic voters were 17% more likely to answer the pollsters' inquiries than Trump voters. But are you 100% specific and accurate at work? No. And so it's not realistic to expect that pollsters will be 100% accurate. They give you a snapshot of a political race at a particular point in time with 3 to 5 point margin of error. And if you adjust your expectations to them being about 95% accurate of a particular snapshot at a particular point in time, then there's no need to get all upset about pollsters and it's a form of voter suppression, having all these pro-democratic polls come out. And Rich Barris kind of engages in some of this conspiracy thinking, oh, if the major pollsters come out with a poll that's too pro-Trump, then they'll get fired, they'll lose their jobs from CNN and ABC News and the like. And pollsters are professionals doing the best they can with a pretty tricky task. And if you don't hold yourself to perfection, don't hold pollsters to a perfect standard either. Right? And what's far more important than polls right now are early vote returns, which show Donald Trump and the Republicans in a good position, except in the U.S. Senate. Obviously, the Republicans are going to take back the U.S. Senate, but many Democratic Senate candidates who looked in dire straits now appear to have considerably solidified their position.